It's very easy to block the energy of others, especially when it's an impatient, external, negative emotional energy. Like, in other words, let's say you're in a grocery store and you're at the self checkout line, and you could just feel those people like, oh, come on, let's go, come on, they just say, I got to get out of here. And they're just beaming that impatient energy at you because they can't sit still for 2 seconds. It's easy to block it. First off, you're not vibrating in their environment, their dimensional plane of unconsciousness. Secondly, you don't concern yourself with what they think. So therefore, you're not giving them your power. And you have to be honest about this stuff. You can't be lying to yourself with this. Everything that I say, it has to come naturally to you. If it doesn't, then practice. Practice breeds proficiency. Perfection does not exist. Practice these things until they become your primary nature, not your secondary nature. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. How do you stop it? Stop caring what they think and be honest with yourself about it. When you care more about what someone thinks about you than what you think about yourself, you are giving away your power to a stranger who could care less if you drop dead in front of them or not. Really analyze that. And if you care more about someone thinks about you, that they can't even think for themselves, what does that say about you? I mean, really analyze this for a minute, because you've been conditioned to be like this, because these creatures that run this matrix know that human beings are social creatures. You're not civil. Human beings are not civil by any stretch of anyone's imagination. How do I know? Watch if you have a power outage. You'll see the true nature of humanity creep out real quick. Riots, rapes, robberies, that's the true nature. If we didn't have law enforcement and you didn't have military, could you imagine coming to this world and there's no police department, there's no military, there's no nothing? You'd have freaking rapes every day in the street. You wouldn't be able to come into your house. They'd be breaking into, there would be no consequence for these things. That's the true nature of humanity. If you didn't have law enforcement, think about it for a minute. Think about it. If you did not have law enforcement in this world, if there's no military, no police force, nothing whatsoever, you imagine what a world, it would be anarchy and chaos every single day. There'd be rapes and riots and murders and violence and crime constantly. This world would be on fire every day. This world would be burning down every day. That's the nature of human beings. So why would you concern yourself with an animal who hasn't even evolved yet? You see? So when you stop honestly caring, not lying to yourself, but you honestly just don't care what they think about you because they can't think for themselves, you are on a really amazing page. And that's a beautiful place to be. I'm not saying disregard them as if they're subhuman trash. I'm not saying insult them. I'm just saying you're not giving your power to an external source. You're not seeking validation from an external source. Not 1 ounce of your self-worth is dependent upon your acceptance or their acceptance or their approval of you. Let me say it again. Not 1 ounce of your self-worth is dependent upon anyone's acceptance or approval of you. You don't seek validation from external sources because that is what the power of self-love can grant you. That's why you have to have self-love. That's the nucleus. That's the core. That's the essence of all of this working, not just the manifestation process, but your life in general. Without self-love, what do you have? Who are you? How do you operate? How do you conduct yourself? How do you live your life if you don't love yourself? Because if you don't love yourself, evidently there's something inherently wrought with some sort of toxicity that you have failed to address, that you've internalized and repressed and suppressed and pretended like it didn't exist. And you keep pounding it down when it wants to come up. It wants to rise to the surface because it's asking you, I have to be expressed to my fullest potential, as every energy must. So therefore, you have to address these things, you have to heal them and release them and allow them to reach their full potential and be expressed in any manner or any means possible in the physical and the metaphysical simultaneously. You can't repress these things. And there's a reason why you have talents and abilities to express yourself, not to impress others. You're given these gifts and talents and abilities to add to the mosaic tapestry of the diversification of this planet and the human ethos, which gives us the rainbows. We don't want to exist in a monochromatic landscape. We want to have the polychromatic colors of infinity, vibrant, alive, vivid, vibrating, lively, vivacious, and bubbly, effervescent. That's what you want. You want the iridescent ribbons of eternal life. You don't want to be stuck in a prison with black or white or gray. So stop caring what they think and start teaching yourself to honestly be that way. Don't lie. Don't just say, I don't care what you think, but honestly, inside you really do. So not only do you give them the power over you to hurt you or heal you, but you're also surrendering your energy. So now you're a puppet and they control you. And they will. I remember when I was a kid, before I end this video. I remember when I was a kid, when I was like 16, 17 in high school. And I remember hanging out with a bunch of these guys, and they were like, "Yeah, I can make my girlfriend cry anytime I want." I was like, "You're a piece of garbage," because women's actions are governed by their feelings and emotions. A men's actions are governed by impulse and instinct, two totally different animals. So when you have somebody who's a malignant narcissist and a d-bag, just a piece of trash, and he knows that his girlfriend's in love with him, since he's a child in his head, he's just an imp. Of course they're going to do stuff like that, and they're going to get off on it because evil people do evil things. Users use, abusers abuse, liars lie, thieves steal. It's not rocket science or brain surgery. So I was like, wow. And I've seen a few of them do it too. Yeah, I can make my girlfriend cry anytime I want. I'm like, what does that mean? What is that? You think you have a power or something? That makes you a complete fool. So anyway, just stop caring what they think. It's easy to block that when you're on that self-checkout line. You just actually have to just take yourself to your own vibrational environment, which is here, and just stay there, because they're below this. And they're never going to come out of there. The fact that they're treating you that way just shows you the extent of what they have to offer, which is nothing. And they're trapped in that dimensional plane of unconsciousness, that low vibrational environment, that atmosphere, that field of energy. And, that's all they know, because in that one field of energy, that's all there is. There isn't anything of a higher vibration as far as they can perceive it. But that's not to say that the divine isn't everywhere, because God is everywhere, of course. That isn't to say that God isn't going to stop trying to help them, because they deserve to ascend like everybody else. Everybody deserves love, but you can't pay attention to this stuff. You can't give it your awareness. You can't give it your time, attention, or your effort or your energy. You can't give it your focus. You can't, zone in on that stuff, because that's how it's going to control you and hurt you. You want to know the easiest way to stop people from hurting you? Stop giving them energy. Stop caring what they think. Stop valuing their opinion. Stop putting them on a pedestal and you're putting yourself down. Stop accommodating them, but inconveniencing yourself. Stop, sacrificing yourself just to spare their feelings and emotions. That's why you're putting yourself in a precarious situation where people are always hurting you. You teach people how to treat you. So if the person on the line's like, "Come on, I gotta go," I don't care. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm not going to rush, because you are impatient and dysfunctional. Just like on the parkway, they're always behind you. They can never get around people fast enough. If they could literally drive over you like a tank. Trust me, they've got to get to that TikTok, or their driveway it's going to pop legs and run. I've seen that before. Blowing a stop sign, cut me off, almost took the front of my car off just to go to their driveway 30 feet down. It's just insane. That's what you're dealing with when it comes to people. But anyway, just don't care what they think, and that's the magic potion, man. It's just that simple. Have a blessed day.